so coffee tastes mighty good. That's not the reason why I've gotta get back up to that sugar shack.
Hey everybody, Jim Tedesco here from Millennium County Railroad version 2.0. I'm going to show you the video that I couldn't show you on a live stream of the decoder install in the MTH GP38 that I did. So it's a bit long, it's 48 minutes long, so I mean you might want to skip through parts that you find boring, I don't know. But anyway, this is what I did and how it came out. So might be educational for some, boring for others, who knows. Anyway, enjoy the video, and we'll get right to it right now. Alright, well, this is the part one of installing a decoder. Now, I thought I had a Tsunami too, but apparently I just bought a digitraxx. So that was my first mistake, which is not a big deal. The Tsunami 2s are a better one, although they are made by digitraxx. And of course they cost more, and money's kind of a thing here, so I'm just going to live with this for right now, but in the future I will not make that mistake again. Alright, but it is kind of nice the way it's set up. I'm going to put this over here. The decoder itself, and I bought the Keep Alive circuit with it. And try and get this stuff here in the screen. There we go. So you got your actual sound card here and motor control. It does come with a speaker. And this is the Keep Alive circuit. And this whole thing plugs right into that, which is great. Now if you didn't have that, what you would get, this actually comes with the decoder, is once again a speaker, a sound capacitor, and a little plug-in. So you just basically unplug this over here to take this off and plug in the new one here. Pretty cool. I thought it was pretty slick the way they did that. I'm happy with it, and it should work out just fine. So we can put this aside for right now. We're not going to be messing with that. What we're going to be messing with, of course, is the main unit. Now, the first thing I have to do here, I'm just going to cut this off. This is for the tachometer on the MTH. Now, we won't be utilizing that. So we're just going to cut that harness off. We don't need it anymore. We'll discard it. We'll keep the wiring because those always come in handy. Now this here is a speaker, which of course we won't be using the stock speaker, so I'm going to flip this over and we're going to take this cover off. Make sure I get it right in the picture here. We've got 4 screws that hold this down. Which, if you ask me, is a bit of overkill. I think one in the center would have been fine, or maybe one on each end. One on each corner I think is a bit excessive. And once again, every time they do something like this, it costs more to sell the thing. And of course, if you're trying to keep your costs down, this is not a good idea. Alright, we get them out of there. Alright, all 4 screws are removed. Now we're going to take and gently lift this off. Once again, it's a rather tight fit. This over here. Now, I don't know what, it looks like they glued this in. They got some double-sided tape on there. There we go. And we're just gonna hopefully take this out of here. Probably not. Because technically you have to split the shell, and I really don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clip the wiring. Alright, there we go. Set the speaker aside. Pull the other end of the wire, put it aside. So, first things first. Now, I don't know about first, but so these are our pickup wires. Now we're going to have to splice these together because on this, I believe, we have the instruction manual, which will be really handy. And on the back, they've got a little schematic. And I'm going to tear this schematic off. It'll be a lot easier to read if it's always out here, and we'll keep it out in the open. So now this shows all the pins on this, and like we're going to orient it this way here. Get more of the picture in there. So these are the wires that are actually going to hook up to existing wires here. Like I said, we're going to have to cut everything. We'll have to shorten these as well. And I'm probably going to go ahead and mount this. I'll get some double-sided tape, or it may even fit in here. I don't know. Let's see. No, it won't quite fit in there. What if it'll fit in this plastic piece? This plastic thing was on here already. It'll fit in this, and actually it does. So we could set it on this. So I'm going to go ahead and put this aside for right now, and we're going to go ahead and put this piece back in. See if we can get it back in the right place. Okay, the plastic piece now this was originally for the original board, which sat in there like so. It just snapped in. We won't be using this board anymore, so, and this won't snap in, but it will lay in there. So we'll still use the double-sided tape, and yeah, we'll use the double-sided tape on that. And that'll work out just fine. And then we've got to figure out now. Okay, you got a ton of wires here, half of which I don't even know what they go to. So I guess I'll find out here shortly, but for right now we're going to move these out of the way. Okay, we're back. So, I had to make a few changes off camera. I had to take this back off along with the light thing, and I had wires that needed to go underneath. So, and that included the pickup wires here for the back, and the motor wire needed to go underneath that. So I got that taken care of. So the next thing to do is, and amazingly, we can utilize these plugs So this yellow and white goes to the motor, which is right here. We're going to put that in, hopefully. Eventually. Or not. Okay, that's in. Same with the pickups. So basically this is just saying track 1 and 2. That one actually went in pretty easily, amazingly. Alrighty. There we go. So that of course leaves lighting. That's where these wires here are going to come in. Get these motor and pickup wires out of the way over here. So we got this purple and blue. It seems to me like there ought to be more wires on that, huh? Why isn't there a green wire on that? We may have found a problem here that I didn't see before. Maybe the wire broke off, I'm not sure. That's your ground. Yeah, looks like there should be a wire right here. Right over here on this pad. We may have to put one there, which is fine because we got plenty of them. Because if you look at the lights back here, you got the green and the blue are the tail light, and the green and the purple are the I'm not sure what you call them, little red lights in the back. Then we're going to tile that together anyway. Maybe. Well, maybe not. I'm not sure yet. Same thing now. These lights up here are for the little green lights in the front. I think they're just called directional lights. And really, I don't even care about those that much. But we'll hook them up either way. And then we've got the white and the yellow should be for the motor. And the orange and the red should be the pickups. And I'm not sure what the ground is for the brown one. And that could just be, that could be ground. Or let's see what we got here. Seems like we're going to need extra wires for lights on this too. I could be wrong about what goes where. I'm not sure yet. We'll figure it out though, eventually. Alright, I'm going to take a break for a moment. We'll be back in a bit. Okay, we're back again. The next thing to do is get this decoder glued down. I'll set the decoder on top of that. So that's glued down now. Now we're not ready to set the keep alive yet, so we're just going to put this off to the side. Same thing with the speaker. Now I left the brown and the yellow wires here because, according to the pinout chart, the yellow is F4, which we'll be utilizing, and the brown is F3. So on your controller function, so we want to utilize those probably for these directional lights. Like I said, I eliminated a few other wires because we don't need them. There was a white wire on there. It was for the smoke generator, which we don't have one on this, so that went away. There was two of the blue one and the black one. They went to the sound capacitor, which is this over here on the old one, which we don't need because the Keep Alive has its own capacitor, so that's not necessary. So those are gone. And the green isn't used at all, neither was the red, so we cut them out. But basically we're left with two extra wires here that we're going to be connecting up F3 and F4. I'm not sure we'll use both of them, but we'll use at least one for the directional lights. I'm thinking I'd like to tie them together, but I don't know yet. Haven't decided. Now on the front end, of course, is all your motor controls. And we have quite a few here. Now, there's really two ways to go about this. I could utilize the plugins that are already here on the front board. They said we have two for the track power, and they branch off into the red over here and the black for track power. And I would tie them into the red and black on the decoder. So I don't know, it might be easier just to go wire to wire, I think, and utilize those connectors. I mean, why not, right? So same thing with the motor. Now the motor is yellow and white, I believe. Well, on here it's yellow and white. I'm thinking these two are for the motor. That would make sense, but on the decoder, the motor is orange and gray. Orange being positive, gray being ground. So if we do use, I don't know, I'm still not sure how I want to do this. Like I said, there's two ways to do it. I can either use these existing wires here, which is probably easier, or I could take this and just cut the clip off and tie into these two wires. But if they're the same, what's the difference, right? So I might as well just leave that in there. Now you got a forward light and a rear light, and it looks like blue is the common or negative off the decoder, and that would go to the blue here and the blue here, which I have to put another blue one in for the head and tail light. And then the rear light is the yellow wire, and the front light is the white wire. So we have to hook them up respectively so that they come on based on direction. And I think that's about. So the green is F1, violet is F2. So those are for different things. Like we could probably use F1 or F2. I don't know why they would put F2. You'd think those would be for the bell and stuff. I'm not sure. Unless that's just, I'm not sure. But probably want to have a separate one for the number boards, because on this one both the front and the rear number boards light up, so we'll have to I have to figure out which one is which. I'm probably gonna have to take like a little AA battery and solder a couple wires on it to power these LEDs, because you don't want to go more than 1.5 volts, and actually make sure which wire does what as far as the lighting goes, because you don't really want to mess that up. So, and unfortunately I can't rely on MTD using the correct color codes. I mean, they look right, but who knows. So just be on the safe side. We'll make sure the same thing, make sure the yellow and the white are actually motor wires. I could throw a 9-volt battery on these two wires to see if it runs the motor. If it does, then we know we're good to go. So there's just little things like that you want to make sure, and I'll demonstrate it as I'm going along. So, you know, we'll make sure it all comes out. Alrighty, well, tell you what, You're gonna find I take a lot of breaks when I'm doing this. Of course, you won't really notice that on the finished video, but this whole thing may wind up taking me 2 days instead of 2 hours. But that's just the way it goes. So I'm gonna take another break again, and we'll be back shortly to pick up where we left off. So stay tuned. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to go ahead and tin these wires. May of course be easier said than done. Put some flux on them. Alright, this is a great soldering, by the way. It's propane powered. I bought this thing at Harbor Freight. I think it was 20 bucks, and best money I've spent. Makes things a lot easier. Now, just for fun, I've got a 9-volt battery here. We're going to make sure that these wires, oh yeah, so these two, the yellow and the white, are in fact the motor wires. So that we've got, and the yellow, I'm presuming the yellow to be positive and the white to be negative, and I sure hope that's the way it works. It should be, but you never really know with MTH, do you? Now I've got to have to find some. I've got some really tiny shrink tubing. Turn that off for a minute. And what I'm going to do is, now let's see, orange is black, orange is positive for the motor. So that's going to be this one right here. Of course, we'll shorten that. That's positive. And it looks like the negative is gray. That's this one right here. So we're going to move those two over here for now. Keep these over here out of the way. Alright, so let me see if I can find some shrink tubing. I'm going to go ahead and pause again because it may take a bit to find it. So I'll be right back. Okay, that was quick. Took me about 30 seconds to find it. And I have quite a bit of it. And this is the smallest stuff I have. And I've got some yellow. If I can get one out. I got a yellow one, and I'm going to use yellow and green. Green for the negative, yellow for the hot. We'll put those aside over there. Now these are pretty long, so we're going to cut them in half. We don't really need anything that long. Same thing with the green. Alright, there we go. Nothing's ever easy. Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and flip the green one over the white wire. I'm going to get that down as far as we can so that we don't accidentally shrink it while we're soldering. That was that one. Let's do the yellow one next. Same thing with the yellow. We'll slide it down there as far as we can. There we go. Get this orange wire out of the way. So we got the white here, and we got the yellow. And those are our motor wires. And of course we have the orange and gray, and we'll double check the size on these colors. Orange is definitely positive for motor control. I'd make these really short, but I don't want them too short. It's always easier to tape them down than it is to make them too short. Plus, if there's a mistake down the road, you know, you may need that extra length. Hey, you're working with tiny wires like this. I'm probably going to have eye strain tonight. Do the same with the gray wire. We got it stripped. Twist that. And I've got to melt the flux again. One of these days I'll invest in some of that liquid flux. It seems a lot easier to use than the paste flux. But if you stick the solder on this, it'll melt it and it'll stay liquid for a minute or two, so it's easier to utilize. So I'm going to have to fire this back up. And are we lit? Yes, we are. And so the only drawback of having this rechargeable one is it takes a minute to get it heated up, because you don't really want to leave it running. Where if you had a plug-in one, you could just leave it on, you don't have to worry about it. But and you got to worry about the wire. It's just, I've gotten so used to using the cordless now, that's what I prefer. So we'll just keep, you know, we'll just go with that one, right? So we'll get these two wires tinned. Then we'll see about connecting them together and sealing those two wires up, and that'll be 2 wires done out of a half a dozen. Thank God, right? Because I'll tell you what, this is monotonous and tedious. And, I mean, I don't blame anybody for wanting to do this, because it's kind of necessary, but I can understand why, I can understand if you want to shy away from it. Yeah, we got it shrunk, so we got one down, yay! Alright, that was nerve-wracking, a little bit. Okay, so now the white. Alright, 2 down. Yay! Alright, I'm back. Now what I did was, I went ahead and hooked up the couple of wires for the pickup. I hooked up the pickup wires. So everything's hooked up except for the lighting right now. But we want to make sure this is actually going to work before we go any further. So, got my controller. Got it set on 3. We'll program this out later once it's all finished. Let's see if we get anything working here. Let's do a startup sequence. Yeah, we got a startup sequence. Let's try a horn. Okay, we got a horn. Let's try. We got the bell. Let's see if we have any motion. We'll try forward first. Alright, we got forward. We got reverse. In fact, we have another loco down on the other end that's also on 3. Alright, well the main thing is now we know that so far what we've done works. So we're going to shut it down. Track power is off, so we can safely pick it up. Okay, now we're back at the bench. And so really what we've got left now is all lighting. And by the way, I did use my fancy meter to check continuity and stuff on the pickup wires to make sure we got everything correct, which it is. So really the only thing we've got left to do now, of course, is lighting, and of course that's going to be a ton of fun, and I'm being sarcastic. And then I still have to mount the speaker, and I'm going to have to clip the speaker wires, which kind of sucks, but that's okay. Maybe. I don't think I have enough room to mount it up top here along with the keep alive, although I could be wrong. The keep alive may even sit up here. I don't know yet. I got to do a little bit of measuring. We'll get to that later. But I'm going to take a break right now. I know I take a lot of those, don't I? And I'm going to try and prefigure the lighting. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. Yeah, I made this battery here. What did I do with it? Oh, this one right here. I soldered wires to it, so it's 1.5 volts. And I put it on there to check the LEDs, but nothing lights up, so I'm guessing the LEDs probably run on 12 volts or more. I'm not really 100% sure, but obviously they don't work on 1.5 volts, which is standard voltage for an LED. But keep in mind that these have, I know they have diodes in them, and I bet they have resistors in them too. I can't really tell. And I sure hate to blow them out, but I'm willing to take a chance, so we'll see what happens. But I'll do that off camera. Unless I get them working, then I'll turn the camera back on to show that they actually do work with the battery. And I'm tempted to use the 9 volt, but a little nervous at the same time. So, I know the first thing I've got to solder a wire on over here, and I'm going to use this gray wire since I don't have the proper color. But that's okay because I know it's gray, and that's all I need to know. We're just going to tin that. I'll tin that off camera and solder it on there. There's really no need for you to see that. And then I'll do some testing, and we'll turn the camera back on when I'm satisfied that I know what I'm doing. Be right back. I'm back. All right, I'm back. Good news, bad news. I had the wires backwards, but because you know on LED you have to have the right polarity. And once again, MTD pulled the fast one on me, and they reversed the colors. I thought the purple would be the hot, and it's actually the I thought it'd be the ground. It's actually the hot. And the orange or the brown and the other ones, blue, were hot. But when it did correct the wiring, it blew out the LEDs. So apparently they can't handle the voltage from the decoder, which is not really a big deal because I'll just put my own LEDs in there. I think I have some clear ones, I hope, that are 12 volt, because I checked it with a red one that was 12 volt and it worked fine. So, but these the 3 volt ones won't get it, so that's not going to work. Ugh, what a disaster, huh? Well, I guess there's a lesson there, you know. Maybe, I don't know. Which isn't a big deal, because like I said, I could, actually it'll solve a lot of problems. I could just glue the LEDs right to the plastic there. And I could even do, I've got green and red. So, well, I don't think I got the back, I don't have the lenses for the back anymore. Oh, yeah, I do. You're right, no, I got the numbered boards. Anyway, I'll figure it out. Like I said, if I don't have the LEDs, I'll have to order some. I know I've got green and red, but I'm not 100% sure. Well, I do have clear, but they're different ones. Yeah, actually I do have some clear ones, and they'll work. Alright, so basically what I can do then is I could strip most of this shit out of here. So I can go ahead and pull these LED boards off because you can't use them anymore. It doesn't blow them out. I'll tell you what, this probably would not happen to anything else, just MTD. And this is what happens when you buy proprietary equipment. This is why you should never buy proprietary equipment, because ultimately it's going to bite you in the ass. And that's not good. So let's see, those are function wires. I want to keep these. We're going to take those down. Now this, you know, really I should have just went ahead and direct wired them. I can get rid of this whole stupid thing. So I'm basically going to almost have to start over again. Maybe, or maybe not. Take those off because we're not using them. Those off because we're not using them. So that leaves us with just the motor and the track pickups. So if I could pry this board off of here, and I should be able to. There we go. Okay. I could just wrap this up and tape it down here somewhere and it'll be out of the way and I won't have to worry about it. This one I'll have to go around rewiring everything, which would be a real pain in the balls. Actually, I could probably set it right in here. There you go. Problem solved. So, and then the keep alive is going to sit back here. And I've got it unplugged at the moment. Plug that back in a bit. So basically what I'm going to do is wire up my own lighting. And probably the simplest way to do it is run one LED to cover the light boards and the headlight, and then the second LED for the light boards and the tail light. That might be the easiest way to do it, because I know I have clear ones, and they're 12 volt, and they should work just fine. Now I usually use these for structures, but I have quite a few of them. Like I said, they're small, but they're 12 volt, and they will work just fine. And they're bright white, so it'll look good for a headlight. And actually, even if I don't get the number boards lit, I'm not all that worried about it. It would be nice, but the main thing is to get the headlight lit. Alright, I'm back. Tell you what, tedious work. But I've got everything glued in. I've got a green light here for the directional, a white light for the headlight and road number boards, and the backup light. And I don't have one for the backup boards because the way it's designed, I can't make something that'll probably work for that. Because it's a weird way that they built it. So, I want to let this glue set up a little bit. Then we're going to figure out how to wire it in. Now, I also found out that right here, the speaker is not going to work in that location because of the cab. It drops down. And there's not a lot of room here. Certainly not enough for a speaker. So, we're back to the original idea of putting the speaker down on the bottom in this piece here. That little thing out of there. We'll put that back in before we put the speaker in, maybe. But I'm going to have to, now this is solid metal, so I'm going to have to take the Dremel tool, I guess, and try and Dremel that out enough to where the speaker will fit in there. That's going to be a bit of a trick, and I'm not going to bore you with it. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And I'll turn the camera back on when it's finished to show you how I've done it. Have cordless Dremel tool. We will see what happens. So I'm going to pause the camera for a minute. Be back in a minute. Yeah, I think we're just going to use the original speaker. So, lunch is here. I'm going to pause the camera a bit. Alright, we're going to go ahead and I just put together 2 of these wires. We're going to go ahead and solder them up. I'm going to clean up here a little bit first. This place is a mess, so I'm going to pause the camera for a bit. Clean up the area, and then we'll see about getting the lights hooked up. So, stand by, I'll be right back.
Quit bugging me.
I thought that was a turkey.
Dad.
Take the spoon.
Dad. Daddy, you there? And I know you're going to want something. Daddy.
You're being recorded too.
Hey, you want one too? Here.
What?
You're going to need that.
No, I don't. I'm just
Cut that
shaking
out. Cut that out.
I'm not cutting that out.
Cut it out.
No, I'm not cutting it out. No, 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 no. Thank you. Alrighty, so let's see, we should have enough heat left on this to shrink this. Alright, so that's one wire. We're going to keep the directional light on. We're going to use the one of the function wires. Not sure which one we should probably use. Green is a function 1. So we'll probably use the green wire. This will go here. We're going to need a piece of shrink tube for that too. Sounds like the chicken's in the background there. I sure hope all this works. The only thing we got left now is the tail light and the neutral wire. Now the back light is yellow. Alright. So all we got left now is the neutral, which is right here. And I believe the neutral is the blue wire. Alright. I got the lights working. I had to reverse the connections. My mistake. So basically everything is working now. We have our backup lights. Forward lights, I don't think you can see any of that, but we got the bell. And the horn. Coupler noise. Dynamic brakes. Crossing gate air horn. Brake squeal. Another crossing gate air horn. So really all we got to do now is tape some of these wires down and button it up and we're done. Thank God. What a job, I'll tell you what. Of course, have more programming to do on it. Got to program in the road number because it's still using 3 for an address. Our new address will be 406. So I got to pause the camera again, tape everything up, turn the camera back on, get the show back on, and maybe take it for a test drive. See you right back. And that's it. I got it all put back together. It's running good. We have power. I think we've got it. I'm probably going to run around on the main line for a bit, back and forth. I won't bother recording it, but that, of course, is the end of the decoder install on the MTH GP38. For future reference, don't buy any MTDs. They're very difficult to work on. But we got it though, so that's about it. So until next time, we'll see you later.